I think we can go ahead and get started. If we have some people come in, that'll be okay. My name is Kristie Keuntjes. I'm the Learning Services Coordinator for the School of Nursing at Rasmussen College.
I'm Jennifer Stoker. I'm the Learning Services Coordinator for the School of Business.
Yep, and today we're going to talk to you about how we at Rasmussen College run our tutoring training programs, how we run our tutoring program, things like that. And then we're going to get started by showing you a brief overview of who we are at Rasmussen College. So we are 26 campuses in 6 states. Our states are, we're a private for-profit college. We have Florida. Oh man, I practiced this list yesterday. We have Florida, Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, and Kansas, and Illinois. And we have, like we said, we have 6 schools. I'm the School of Nursing, School of Business. We have School of Early Childhood Education, School of Justice Studies, School of Health Sciences, School of General Education, Nursing, and Business. We offer certificates, diplomas, associates, and bachelors. No, you're fine. And 80% of our students are online. Recently, we did undergo a transition. We used to have, come on in. Oh, you're just checking to make sure everything's running smoothly. We used to have a Learning Center coordinator on each campus. But we recently transitioned to having a Learning Services coordinator for each school of, and I'm fully on board with that change. Yes, we lost some wonderful team members, however, now I get to focus on nursing. Instead of focusing on all 6 schools at my campus and having the disconnect and the students at Ocala receive different support than the students at Aurora, I'm really excited. So now when I have all my nursing tutors, and I work with the nursing faculty, the nursing dean, so we really feel this is the best way to support our students. It supports the one college model again, so all students regardless of location are receiving the same message. And also the one-stop support. So instead of having to go to 800 different people, they can come to me now. Do you guys have any questions about that? All right.
It's funny she's so enthusiastic about the 800 people come to her, right?
I love it. Welcome, welcome. Sorry. No, don't be sorry. Do not be sorry in any way, shape, or form. If I weren't so worried about not knowing where to go and connecting to the internet, I would probably be just the same. So at Rasmussen College, we do have CRLA certification, and I'll let Jennifer talk about that.
Yes, we earned CRLA certification in 2013. This was a really exciting time for us. There aren't too many for-profit colleges that have certification on multi-campuses. So what we focus on is meeting the hiring expectations, following the requirements, onboarding our tutors, making sure they have 10 hours of specialized training. And you'd be surprised, our tutors are looking for more training. So even though they've done every webinar that we've offered, now we're making more webinars and gathering their input. And we've really got a great, we're going to show you our electronic guide, and we have fantastic opportunities for the tutors. We have a lot of faculty and adjuncts who also want to learn more about our tutor training, so they've been joining in on some of the webinars and giving feedback on what would be helpful.
Yeah. And we have level 1 currently, and we just applied for level 2, so we're waiting to hear from them. And fingers crossed on that one, we're really excited. I'm super excited about everything, if you guys can't tell. And Jen's going to talk about tutor selection.
Yeah, so our tutor selection, one thing that's interesting, it's kind of like been a segue from our keynote. We've really built our rapport with the financial services team. We have a WorkStudy specialist that we work directly with. So it's made it very easy for us as far as finding the tutors, because we can contact her and she's familiar with all of our schools of the common courses that we're looking for tutors in, and she will send the students our way, and then we have the opportunity to interview, dig deeper, see if they meet the requirements that we have the needs for. So they have to satisfy all the financial services and human capital obligations for employment, maintain a satisfactory academic progress and minimum GPA of 3.0, and sometimes we have a lot of great students who are like, well, we're going to stick with 3.5 and above. You know, if you have a lot of really good candidates, have a grade of B or better in the subject that they're going to tutor in. And sometimes we come across tutors who, yes, they got a B, but they're not necessarily comfortable tutoring in that subject. And that's fine. A lot of them, we try to find tutors who've taken several courses, so that way, okay, well, you know, maybe you struggled a little bit with humanities, but you can help with English Comp and some of the other courses. We require them to have a recommendation letter from a faculty member from Rasmussen. This speaks volumes. Some of them turn in several letters. Some of them are like, we still need that letter so we can move forward, but it really says a lot about, you know, the faculty member knows the type of student they are. If they're interactive, even if it's an online class, they know that they're the one posting in the discussion forum. They're responding to classmates. They've got everything in on time. They have to possess good oral and written communication skills and ease in relating to people from varying educational, cultural, and social backgrounds. So we really want to make sure that we're able to connect with our diverse population.
Yeah, and now since we're now focused school by school, so we're building relationships with faculty, and I have faculty referring tutors nonstop. And those are the ones that rise to the top for me because they see something special in the tutor, and they really want them to be there to help their students. So it's a majority advertising and referrals as well. So, tutor training. We do have a standardized onboarding checklist that we go through with all of our tutors to make sure that we're covering all of the same things, like how to access, we have the system UltiPro for them to clock in, clock out, different things like that. We show them our Tutor Excellence Guide, which is what we'll show you guys in a little bit too. And we talk through the CRLA training certification process, everything like that, to make sure all tutors are receiving the same communication. We do have what we call the Tutor Excellence course. It is a 4-module online course. We just re-evaluated it. It used to be 5 weeks, and now we took a look at it and we condensed it into 4. It is a non-credit class, and students, obviously, they do not have to pay for that. The modules that we cover are basic tutoring guidelines, setting goals and effective session techniques, integrating study skills and digital fluency, modeling problem solving, and fostering independent learners. And then we have webinars, which is the synchronous training for CRLA. And each webinar has a standard lesson plan, and they're offered by learning services coordinators. So even if it's not my tutor, I can train them if it's my session. Jen does sessions that have tutors, and so we work together to train the tutors as a team. And we have 4 mandatory topics, and then we have optional topics that vary each quarter. So this quarter, we took a look and we saw that the tutors, even though they have really great study skills and they have really great reading time management, we still need to teach them how to teach that to students, right? Because when I was first in my role as Learning Center Coordinator and transitioned, I had really great time management skills. I had really great study skills, but could I tell you what they were, or could I verbalize that? Nope. So that's something that we added this quarter for our tutors to really help them work with our students. We're also integrating information on mindset. Carol Dweck, that seems to be a hot topic. Definitely something that we find value in, and we're going to integrate that into our training. Do you guys have any questions for me so far? All right, will you click? Oh, yes, ma'am.
Do you find that because it's an online module that your students or rather your tutors are just really quick to get through with it? They don't give a lot of time to it?
Yes and no. So there are some students that just get it done to get it done, but for a majority of them, they really feel that this is a big honor for them, and they feel proud to be chosen as a tutor, and they want to make their learning services coordinator proud. So we do find that, but really, tutors at Rasmussen have such a really student-facing, I'm lost for words. They're right there and the students see them. And so the students look to them as role models, and they start to really build those strong relationships with them. And the tutors that I like to hire are the tutors that worked with the student, or worked with the tutor before, were successful, and they want to pay it forward. So that's really the qualities that I look for, because they see the value in it, and they're like, this helped me, I want to help others.
Mm-hmm. And something else I want to mention with regard to the tutors and taking the course, we found that tutors who are very close to graduation, they may have a bit of senioritis, so they tend to be the ones who aren't putting in as much into the course as the others who know they're going to be tutoring for the next year or the next year and a half. So we just had a similar situation the last time we ran the course. It was his absolute last, class, and he just didn't give it his all. And we thought, okay, we're going to rethink this. He had a couple of opportunities to take it and hadn't taken it until the end because he was hoping to earn certification, but
yeah. So those are more one-offs than the general tutors that we find out.
Sure.
Thank you.
I just have 2 questions about the webinar. Is that something that we could look at?
Yes. Yep, we're definitely going to show you.
And also, what do you mean by a standard lesson plan as it relates to tutoring?
So for
what does that mean?
the standard lesson plan refers to the webinars. So when we have a webinar on, let's say, FERPA is one of them, we wrote a lesson plan so that if the presenter is presenting it for the first time, they're making sure that it's more for the tutors. Yeah, it's not for the tutors, it's for the presenters and the learning services coordinators. So if, for example, I'm supposed to present it that day, I have the stomach flu, I can call Jen, she can immediately step in without,
Okay.
Although for FERPA we have somebody from our compliance team. We have 2 that we have guest speakers for. We have another that we have someone from Human Resources come in and give that presentation. So, and we're actually moving to some tutor-led. This isn't on here. This is just happening now, but we're going to some tutor-led webinars as well because they're asking for additional things that they can do to stand out from the rest of the team.
Yeah. Will you click on the button for me?
I will. I might click the right way.
Just hit the forward button, the forward arrow. All right, so here is our fantastic learning services team, and we all work together to create the course and implement it. Like I said, we just took a look and reevaluated and revamped our Tutor Excellence course, and we did that as a team. We also looked to webinar creation and implementation. So if I present a webinar and I feel it could be stale, I bring it to the team, we take a look at it as a team, and we can rebuild it and revamp it. And we also, again, work on the content improvement and innovation. So like we said, we saw that there was a need to teach the tutors how to teach time management and study habits, and that was something that actually Tammy Hops took on, and we created that. So it's a constantly ever-evolving, it's not a stagnant process. We like to make sure that we're creating content and staying on top of things.
For assessment and evaluation, and we'll show you this when we pull up our guide, but we have the tutors fill out self-evaluations. We like to get their perspective. Most of the time we have the same thoughts. Sometimes we're like, okay. So that's one of the parts of it. What we do is we evaluate our tutors when it's their first quarter tutoring. We watch some of their sessions. If they're on our campus and live, we watch it, can give feedback. Things that sometimes people don't pick up on, body language, other things. If you're kind of slumped in your chair, you don't look as ready to help as somebody who's greeting you right when you come in. All of our online tutoring sessions are recorded, so they're archived for a couple of reasons. We can go back and review them, and we do, and the students can go back. So let's say they're going through an accounting concept, and they're working on it again the next day. They can go back and watch it without having to sign up for another session. But the way we have it set, we have our student tutors who are available depending on what their schedule is, and then we also have some backup professional tutors through BrainFuse, and they're available for like the evening hours or for math. So we're able to offer math tutoring 24/7 online because they have professional tutors who are there all the time.
And then as far as for the nursing students, when they get closer for their NCLEX prep, we have the professional tutors that can work with them through NCLEX prep through the live help that she was discussing.
And then our standard plan is we have tutor evaluations the first 2 quarters after hire, and then they move to every other quarter after that.
Do you guys have any questions about that? We have, and actually, it is time for the live sharing part of it.
The moment we've been building. Now, let's hope the internet works.
I have a quick question. So what do you do in terms of support, if you will, for tutors who may be having challenges with their work processes? Is there a plan that you put them on, like a performance plan or some coaching, mentoring? What does that model look like in terms of your work?
Usually they're pretty open with us and they'll let us know if they're having some struggles. The way it works, we did actually have a tutor who did not do well in a course, but their GPA was so high that it didn't impact them. But if their GPA falls below a 3.0, they can't tutor that next quarter. So
yeah, I'm speaking more of like the observational pieces, and you're just seeing some non-best practices, if you will. And so that's my say in terms of coaching and mentoring. What does your model look like in terms of that?
Usually it's one-on-one, or we'll have things where faculty will have said, oh, I think that they could have done this better, or something like that. Or when we're reviewing sessions, the students come in sometimes and they want the answer. They don't necessarily want to learn how to do it. So, the tutors have been told over and over, like, don't do it for them. Show them, ask them something similar, because here they are with an actual homework question. It's like, well, we're not going to do this. We're going to pull another example. All of our tutors have access to the faculty book for that course, so it makes it helpful for being able to pull in information and kind of guide them back.
And so, we'll get to your question in just a second. So when we fill out this form, if you could X out that for me. And we go, we've revamped it since, and I don't have time to dig in and get it all updated.
We've got a lot
but what we'll do is we'll go through and we take a look at professionalism, customer service, job performance, subject knowledge, and we'll write on there, okay, so this is what we saw during your session. And the ways to correct it probably wouldn't be listed here on the form, but we talked to them in the one-on-one session. Okay. So I noticed that when the student came into the online session, you didn't greet them by name. Remember, it's important to greet a student by name to build rapport. You didn't ask them questions to determine their background knowledge. Here are some open-ended questions that you can walk through. So we do talk through that during the session, and then we make notes of those, and then look for them in the next time that we reevaluate them.
Okay, thanks.
Does that answer your question?
It does, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I just wanted to say what I do. If a new tutor has some issue, I make them shadow what I call a senior tutor. And after a while, they can take the floor. But it's a great way for them to know everything about the lab and about the students.
Yep,
so shadowing
absolutely.
it works too.
We do the same thing when we do have a tutor who's been there for a little bit and we have a new tutor come to that campus. We do the same thing, have them watch what they do, things like that. But we do make sure that that tutor does not have some bad habits that report, obviously. And when we did transition, we inherited some really awesome tutors, and we inherited some tutors that needed a lot of coaching and working on. So that was something that we addressed right off the bat, and it's something that we're continually working toward. Do you guys have any questions? So this was our form, but here is our fantastic Tutor Excellence Guide, and it is through LibGuides. And it contains pretty much, I tell my tutors to bookmark it because this is your tutoring go-to. It tells everything about what our program is. It has a Prezi that they presented at CRLA when we were going through that.
And let me give them, just so you have the link if you want it, because this is open, you can look at it. It's guides.rasmussen.edu/tutorexcellence. And you can go through all of the tabs. We have a tab you can't view, that's an admin tab that we use, but it won't pop up there. So all of the tabs at the top, you can view everything that we have.
Can you repeat that again for those with ocular challenges?
I know.
We should have printed something out, but it's guides.
Okay.
Control plus.
They'll have it, I think, too. We'll make sure that they have it, but it's guides.rasmussen.edu. If you remember that part, it'll pull up the main guides page. The first thing that'll pop up is the APA guide, because every student goes to that all the time, but you can type in Tutor Excellence in the search, and it will bring this up. You're going to have to make it bigger.
I am.
Okay. I'm not here.
I can't legally drive. That's
Yeah, so guides.rasmussen.edu/tutorexcellence. She really makes it tricky for you if you've thrown it off to the side.
So that's the link to our guide, and it contains everything that the students have the questions about. How they can go through the hiring process and payroll, and it even has notes for tutors and learning services coordinators. It has a link to the system that we have them clock in and clock out on. It has the training and development, so it has, when you go through to their tutor training, they'll log it right here for us. And down at the bottom, it has a live calendar that they can see when the next webinar, if I could speak today. When the next webinar session is scheduled. And then after our webinars, we ask them to complete a worksheet, and they can find the worksheets here. They click on it and they download it, and they submit it to their learning services coordinator so that we can make sure that they have the main takeaways.
And I think you'd be interested, these are the webinars that we offered probably over the last 6 months, but we keep adding to them as students have taken them all and they want more. We're like, okay, or just to freshen up the elective webinar. So using the online library for tutors. Most of us know how to use the online library effectively, but it's something that they could really use help with explaining to our students. We have the discovery search tool that will search all of the databases. It makes it very easy. You can click on things for the citation where you don't have to actually do the citation for the references page. You can copy it based on the format. We use APA, but it makes it very easy. There's some little tricks that they can pass on to our students.
And we even have the CRLA master checklist right there so they can track their progress towards certification. We have the evaluation process listed right here, word for what we go through with our tutors, and we have all of the documents right here. And they even click here and track their hours. So we use Live Analytics to track the tutoring appointments. Tutors go in and they put all of the information listed, their name, what type of tutor they are, what campus they're on, the students. We ask the students' username because that's how we pull our information on our end. What class they did, and then at the bottom, there's even a place for them to write notes so that we can go through, okay, we saw that Robbie came into the Learning Center today and this was his issue. Well, tomorrow Robbie's coming into the Learning Center today with the same issue. What is going on after this session? What happened here? So this is really for our side so that we can take a look and also track student progress as well, and also use that as a way to coach our tutors. So we say, okay, you had this issue with this student, I see you had a similar issue. What can we do? Can we create a handout? Is there something that we can do on our end to be more proactive to help the students? Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, could you, what's the spelling of that? Libby Analytics?
Live Analytics.
Oh, Live Analytics.
Yep, L-I-B, and then Analytics.
Okay.
It's all through LibGuides, SpringShare. We love them because they have widgets that you can embed in classes. So this isn't tutor related, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So librarians have live chat, and they do it through the SpringShare platform. And there's a widget that we have in the resources tab of the online classes that has the live chat box right there. And once we embedded that in the online classes, holy smokes, the usage of it went exponentially, so much so that we had to have people on call to help during those times because it was just crazy. So that's how we found that we can really be more forward in the students facing. Our links to the tutoring is right there in the resources tab of their online classes. We're connected through the student portal. We're working, since we went to School Ups, we're working with the School of Advisors, the School of Faculty, to really market ourselves and really get the students using our services.
Something we've been doing as well is we've been creating announcements for faculty who are in online courses. Kristie and I worked on this together, and then we send them the announcements. Like, here are webinars that we're offering for students, other information that would be helpful. Because if we've created the announcement for them, really all they have to do is put it in their course. We made it so much easier. Instead of telling them about it and hoping that they're going to pass it on, we found that it's a lot more effective to give them course announcements relating to our workshops and things that would be beneficial. Because we offer time management, APA basics, you know, the standard webinars.
And then we have a resources tab for our tutors that have all sorts of handouts that they can use during sessions. links, handy links for them. So we try to make it as one-stop shop as possible. And this way we can ensure that all the tutors, regardless of location, have the same access to the same information. And we even have an online tutoring tab that goes through, because we do have online tutoring is becoming big at Rasmussen College. Yes, sir.
What's the platform you use for online tutoring?
We have BrainFuse is our online tutoring platform, and we worked with them to create a special thing that we have called Tutor Match, and also on Sync. It was a special formatting that they worked with us to create.
So do your tutors in-house tutor students online, or is it through a third party?
No, the student tutors in-house do tutor online through BrainFuse. If there's a subject, like I said, the NCLEX is something that our students can't support because they haven't taken it yet, that's when they would default to the live tutors.
And students have the option when they're making an appointment, they can select to have their appointment online, over the phone, or in person. So if they're at, let's say they're at the Tampa campus, and the tutor's at the Tampa campus, they can have an in-person one. But if it's somebody from Fargo, North Dakota who needs help, they're gonna have to either do online or over the phone if they wanna connect with that particular tutor in Tampa.
And my apologies for not having this pulled up.
That's okay. One thing I'll let you know, with that section where Kristie was talking about with Tutor Track and where we're tracking the sessions that the students come in for, it's also helpful for us if we see all of a sudden a lot of students coming in from the same course, then it kind of draws a flag. Like we'll reach out to the faculty, try to find out what's going on if several students are coming in kind of out of the blue. You know, there might be something else going on. Sometimes they made additions to a course project that we're not familiar with or something like that, and it's caused a lot of confusion.
And here's our online course. Again, we call it the Tutor Excellence course. I'm going to make it larger for my visually impaired friend in the back there.
I'm here.
Hey,
I see you from afar.
You're speaking to the choir here. I know. So here's our Tutor Excellence course. It is built just like our other online courses, so they don't have to learn a different platform. We have the same expectations as we do in the other online courses. They have to post announcements, discussion posts every week and engage with each other. They have written assignments that they must submit. They have quizzes. And like I said, we took a look and we condensed it into 4 modules. And we start with the basic tutoring guidelines, what to do, how to build, record an online class, tutoring do's and don'ts, and what we actually have them create. The culminating assignment that they have is they actually create a learning assistance position statement. And that's what they have. And I think that's really important because that shows, when we read it, we can really see their dedication to tutoring. When we read them and there might be a little bit of a red flag, like, oh, let's talk about this. Do you really want to be a tutor? What are your intentions? And that kind of gives us a way to guide through that. What's our time?
You have lots of time.
Lots of time. Okay.
Well, maybe we should show them one of the videos.
That's what I'm going to show. I'm going to show you guys our favorite video.
Yeah, we have some great videos.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I remember you guys were saying you evaluate tutors, right? Is that tied to pay raises or?
It's not, but if there are going to be less hours available and there is a tutor who maybe hasn't performed as well as another, that could be a factor. But for the most part, they earn the WorkStudy funding. They all have the same pay.
Oh, they're all WorkStudy.
It's $10 an hour.
Yeah, and we are going through, just 1 second. We are going through the process of looking at lead tutors and having lead tutors and differentiating different job descriptions and things like that. So we are reevaluating it right now. Jen and I we can't speak to what's going to happen with that just because we're the minions right now. Yes, sir.
Just curious, are all your tutors current students?
Yes.
I was going to ask.
They're all current students.
Okay, so I think you said they were all work study?
Yep, they're all current work study students. And that's why the live help is important for us to supplement for the higher classes that we may not have a tutor in.
Gotcha. So do you only hire work studies or just worked out that way?
We only hire work studies.
Okay, so like you have a great candidate, excellent tutor, but it's not qualified for work study.
Our hands are tied and we throw tantrums and bang our heads against the wall. It's happened to me so many times. But yes, we only hire work study students. Yes, ma'am.
Your work study, how many hours, two-part question, is it 20 hours a week, or how many hours max can you work a week?
The federal work study specialists that we work for, when we get a candidate come in and they get their application, we immediately send that off before we contact the student to see if they do qualify, and when that happens, she sends it back. The maximum I've seen is 29 hours, and I've seen as little as qualifying for 6. So it just depends on, and I know the next question will be, how is that looked at? I just do it as I'm told.
My second question, I'll be quick.
That's okay.
Fabulous. My question is, how much time are they spending in terms of the modular self-study? And do you just kind of broker out and block out their time that you need X number of time on the clock this week? So out of your 29 hours, 10 needs to be dedicated to this, and how much is really dedicated to tutoring? I'm just trying to get a visual in my mind.
Yeah, so what we do is we base it on if they, so we have drop-in tutoring and appointments as well. So if they're not working with a student and they don't have an appointment, they're expected to work on the course, or they're expected to attend the webinar. Yeah, and if they have a webinar coming up that day, we have it block them off in their schedule, so there isn't the conflict there. We also take a look at online, so there's some tutors that I have that are awesome that couldn't come to campus this quarter. So I actually have them just doing strictly online only. We have them watching webinars archives that we show other students so they know what's content's in there to refresh themselves so that they can mark it, say, okay, you're having an issue with this. This webinar is perfect, especially halfway through. Pay attention to that piece because that's going to be important for you. So we have them consistently working on professional development as tutors.
And they do some other things. Some of the design students make really great flyers and stuff. So they'll make things for the campuses to hang up that look much nicer than, no offense to us, but true story. They make a lot better looking handouts and flyers and stuff. And going back to the guides, each School of has a guide. So we've been revamping the School of Business guide. I had some of my top tutors go in there. I said, when it's slow, go in there, give us feedback. What else should we have? And they came up with great suggestions. We've added a Meet the Tutor section so students can click on it and see the business tutors no matter where they are. They asked us to put in some worksheets that would be helpful. So I sent it to an accounting instructor and asked, is this something you could help us with creating? Because as a student and a tutor, they think this would be helpful for our other students.
And in the nursing program, they use a platform called ATI for testing, all of that. And so I have my nursing tutors right now making notes of what did they wish they knew about ATI when they were new students. And then we're going to create a student-facing, a student-really-made video on how to use ATI. So we try to use them as much as we can in different areas because they're the student. They know what our students need. They know what the first day of class, they know what was facing them, what they wish they knew, or what resources that they needed. So I'm going to show this video. It's our favorite video in the learning in the
Tutor Excellence
course.
This will be good because it's always Rasmussen people who watch it. I think it's hilarious.
Turn it down. Sorry, I don't want to deafen all of you. as, you know, informative. This is just a little fun video, but fun as well. So they see that's our personalities. All of our learning services coordinators are kooky, and it's fun. And they make, you know, it's, I don't know, I like to be weird, and it's fun. We had a request for a oh, you stinky Mac, you're gonna.
Escape.
There we go. Okay.
It makes it interesting though. Instead of just having reading modules and quizzes, you know, we've gone through the Tutor Excellence course several times, revamping it, so it's okay. Chris, we have 10 minutes.
Okay.
I think he was trying to tell me quietly, but
it's okay. We're not quiet people.
Yeah, we keep revamping it and coming up with better ways. The last time I taught this, several students didn't do well on the final quiz, and I was like, you know, maybe this is something we need to look at. And I'm reading it, and I was like, oh my gosh, some of these questions are confusing. I can see how they aren't picking the right answer. So now we're looking at that for the summer to kind of review it and make adjustments, because if the tutors are struggling and they're our top students, and I read it and I'm like, oh, what was the right answer? Something's wrong.
So in that, again, we collaborate as a team together to do that. It's not just Jennifer, it's not just me, it's a team effort. So this is the admin guide. As you can see, we have the APA for Tutors lesson. I'm not going to download it, but if you downloaded the zip file, in it you would find the lesson plan, the PowerPoint, everything that you would need to successfully run that webinar. And we do archive the webinars for ourselves. So that we can watch it. If we are going to present it, we can go back and watch how another learning services coordinator did it. And we don't share them with tutors, because obviously then that defeats the synchronous part of it. But I'll show you, we'll get a little taste of one right now. That's attendance. Great, oh no, Kristie, did you? Okay, just kidding. We'll go to this one. So we have, again, that platform that we have is on sync, and we do our webinars in Adobe Connect.
And it's nice if students sign up on our guide, they get reminders telling them about the webinar. Otherwise, there's links out there and they can just click on the link. But the way we have it set up on the guide, they'll get a first reminder and a second reminder. Because we have lots of people sign up, and then they don't necessarily all come. So.
Content. So this is we're showing them how to use the online platform, and one side, and it is me, so I don't want to push play, I don't want to listen to my voice. On one side it's the tutor view, and on the other side it's the student view. So they can see, okay, this is what I'm doing, but this is what my student is seeing, so they can walk them through. A student who's having a very first time using the online tutoring platform, they can see the common issues, and we have issues. During this webinar, I had issues, but I liked that because then I was able to walk them through, okay, this is happening, walk your student to do this. This is happening on your end, these are the steps that you can take to troubleshoot. Obviously, we hate it, we don't like it when that happens, but I use it as a learning opportunity. Yeah.
This is Adobe what?
Connect. So when I get excited, I talk very quickly and mumble all of my words together, so I'm so sorry.
Adobe Connect is also in all of our online courses, so if instructors are doing live sessions, so students are familiar with Adobe Connect from having, you know, weekly live sessions and things like that.
And on the archive, they can go through and they can, so these are chat boxes, messages, so you can kind of go through and see the questions that the students had. They can speak to each other here, whatever content is being shared there. They even have a file share pod. So if I had important files that I wanted my tutors to download, they can click on that and download it from the file pod. Ma'am.
Do you also use Blackboard as well?
Not yet, but rumor is that we're moving to Blackboard.
We currently have Angel for our...
Yeah, Angel is our online platform, but word on the street, we're moving to Blackboard. I don't have a timeline for that, though.
And you'd be surprised, sometimes the word on the street is totally wrong.
By the time it gets to...
Never leaving from
Angel. Yeah, by the time it gets to us, it's like, oh, okay, I'm not sure, I'll wait until I'm told. Yes,
what's the retention of your tutors?
The retention of our tutors, that is a really great question, and I don't have the answer to it, unfortunately.
But I tell you, we have very little tutor turnover. I have 2 tutors who are graduating next quarter, and I'm upset. Like, I'm going to have to replace those 2 tutors, but for the most part, unless something comes up, you know, the tutors stay with us until graduation or until something else happens. One of our tutors coaches cheerleading. She had to take a quarter off, but then she missed that interaction. So now that cheerleading's done, she's asked to come back. And,
and I can tell you that in the new, and that's part of, you know, having the 800 people doing the same job. The new transition with the learning services coordinators for the schools up, answers like that we'll be able to have, because I will know, I'll be able to track my nursing tutors specifically. I'll be able to know, I've been in this new role for 6 months and I've lost 1 tutor. So, and I had a team, but 1 tutor, I'm sorry, for grades, but the other tutors that do leave me, leave because they graduate. And they want to stay, but I said, oh, I'm really sorry. Go enroll in another degree or something like that and come back to me. I don't want to lose you.
Or sometimes they get a full-time job.
Yeah, or
so then we're happy, it's kind of like graduation, we're happy for them, but we're still sad for us, you know?
And at Ocala, I hired a tutor 2 years ago and he's still there.
Yeah, real quick, and maybe you may have mentioned it, just kind of what I'm...
That's okay.
In terms of turning in the assignments, the modules, looking at the videos, etc., what is your process and for them to get those deliverables to you? So in other words, are they giving it to you and you're logging it in an Access database? I mean, how do you keep track of it, and how much time do you give each person to do that process?
To submit it. So in the webinars, they say the person facilitating the webinars asks you to submit it within 48 hours to your learning services coordinator. As soon as the webinar is over, an email is sent out with the tutoring attendance for that webinar. So I can go through and I can say, oh, I see Wilton attended this. I need to make sure that Wilton submits it for me. After 48 hours, if it's not in, I reach out to Wilton and give him a gentle reminder. And then usually after that first gentle reminder, they'll submit it. But a majority of them are very proactive and want to get it off their plate, and so they'll complete it right after the webinar and submit it to me. We use the CRLA master checklist to track when they did it. So there's a spot. I'll actually pull that up for you real fast, because I know.
While she's doing that, for the Tutor Excellence course, they're expected to complete the weekly modules that week. So it's a 4-week course. So at the end of the week, if there's a written assignment, discussions, a quiz, they need to have that done by Sunday.
So
we are the ones who actually facilitate the course. We take turns, all the learning services coordinators. So we'll get to work with each other's tutors. They get feedback from me that might be different than feedback they would get from Kristie. And each quarter we take turns.
So it is a paper-based system for us for right now. I'm sure that'll change as we go through this and figure it out. But we have a file on each tutor. We have this checklist for each tutor. When they complete the required webinars, we check it, we write when they did it, and we get that document. We print out that worksheet that we have for that corresponding webinar, and we place it into the file. So it is, like I said, it is paper-based right now, and that's how we track it, but I'm sure that will be something that we take a look at as a team, because obviously that's not truly the most effective way. Yeah, no problem. Do you guys have any other questions?
I want to take a picture of you guys, and we always have pictures of us, but... Now you're on. Oops, sorry, I'm going to run Kristie over. It's a good thing I'm taking a picture of that. I can't get everybody.
That's okay. Why don't you stay on that? Make sure you get my good side. See?
Well, we very much appreciate you coming in and listening to our session. We love coming and speaking to our fellow colleagues and getting ideas. I do have my business card if you guys want to continue this conversation with me, or if you saw something up here that you have a suggestion on. Obviously, we love feedback. Constructive criticism is how I thrive. I love it because I don't want to stay stagnant for sure. And again, thank you so much. And if you guys have any questions, business cards, and have a great rest of your conference.
Thank you.